I'm your host, Rob Cantrell, coming live from Rockaway Beach. This is a CCH podcast, the best podcast in the world. We're here at one of the coolest spots in the world. I'm here with one of my best friends, probably in New York, one of my closer, cool, creative friends that I've seen grow with the last 10 years. He's been a DJ, he managed bands. We used to do an internet show before a podcast. We did a hip-hop internet podcast show on Brooklyn radio. Me and my buddy Rondell Hartley and DJ Concern, we used to spin vinyl and take bong hits and talk about life and love and liberty and the pursuit of happiness. But today I want to introduce my man. This guy has the best spot in Rockaway Beach. We are in Rockaway Beach, and he has a place called Seany Pizza, and it's wood-burned pizza. Sean has dedicated his life the last 7 years of just going hard in the paint with developing the best pizza right here in New York, and he's there, and it's right here at Rockaway Beach, and he's here right now. Let's give it up for the one and only Sean Aiken, everybody.
Hey,
DJ Seany.
What's up, Rob? How you doing, pal?
Good, man. I'm doing good.
Welcome to Rockaway.
Thank you for having me. I know you were born and raised here.
Yes, I was born 10 blocks from here, 17 blocks from where we're sitting now. Yeah, we're on 97th Street, and I was born on 80th Street. So
wow.
Very close. My mom is still there.
Still right over here?
My mom's still there, yep.
Rockaway has been going through a renaissance. I mean, it's always been a hidden cool spot, and you must have had a great childhood having the beach in the city here.
Yeah, it's our backyard, you know. Like, I think some kids have, parks, or if you're close to, maybe Forest Park in Queens, or if you're close to Prospect in Brooklyn or Central in Manhattan, I think that's kind of the big spot to play and have fun. But for us, it was the beach. And mostly that's fun in the summer, but we had some fun there in the off seasons as well.
Yeah, it must be. Like, lately, I don't know about you, but this is the new thing on the street, is the morning hours.
Yes.
5:30 to 7:30 in New York, especially in New York City, it's the coolest time of day. And probably in beach time, just to walk around, it must be surreal in the morning.
Absolutely. And in Rockaway, I live right on the boardwalk, which is kind of, the main hub for people from outside of the community coming to visit, because, it lays across the beach. And watching people come out and kind of, for it to come alive is interesting. So coming out in the morning with my dog, like I did today, and then kind of grabbing a coffee, and then when you see a full onslaught of people coming off the trains, the ferries, their cars, especially on the weekend, it's kind of wild to watch it grow within a day, within hours.
Within a day and an hour, and it's usually the weather will bring out the people. And this is, I mean, Sean, it's pretty much not even a pop-up. You're a staple. How long have you had wood-fried pizza here? Wood-fired pizza here.
This has been my 4th year in this concession.
Yes.
So I was kind of doing pop-ups. I used to be at a brewery that's now closed in Rockaway. But the guys that took over these concessions asked me to come in and do this in their first year. So this is my 4th with these guys, and it's been pretty amazing.
Pretty amazing, because they have bands here. You can rent surfboards here. They actually get dope waves on a good classy day. Today is absolutely beautiful. But let's break down to the people. What kind of pizza do you make, man? What's your elevator pitch of your za?
Mine is kind of like what I'd call like a sturdy, crispy-ish Neapolitan style pizza. So typically Neapolitan style pizza is cooked in a really hot oven, where the oven is about 900 degrees. The floor of the oven is 7 and change. Really hot, really fast. It bakes in about 90 seconds. So it's in and out. And what that does, it allows for the dough to seal very quickly and keep a lot of moisture in there. So that kind of pizza typically is made. It comes from Naples, and it's kind of like a little softer. I keep my oven sometimes a little bit lower and bake it a little bit longer, just to have a little extra crisp to it.
Yeah.
So it's
New York
what people
likes a little crisp.
A little crisp, yeah. So they call it like a new or Neapolitan inspired pizza.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you use wood in the oven. You get it up to 900. That's like kiln. Like, you could do pottery with that shit. That is super hot.
Yeah, it's super hot. So,
but it does it quick.
It does it quick, which is good to get through service, because we hand stretch each one. So when you go into a typical New York style pizzeria, they call that like a deck style pizza. That's operating at about 500 and change the oven. Sometimes they're bumping it up to 6, but you're waiting 15, 20 minutes to cook a pie. So when you go in there to get a slice, to get a pie, it's usually most of the stuff is done in there. You're choosing from the window. For us, as soon as you walk up, we haven't made your pizza yet.
Yeah.
So the pizza you're getting is the one that you ordered. Which, it has its challenges, but it's definitely fresh.
It's the freshest.
Yeah.
It is the Fresh, fresh. Yo, that's fresh. I had to put it in there because Sean
Fresh Fest.
Fresh Fest. Sean has a deep knowledge of hip-hop from the source, from New York. That's why I always loved talking to him, especially when he was DJing and he managing bands. He has a love for music, a love for food, a love for people. And, so you come here and it's like you think, a hot pizza on a hot day, it doesn't work, but it works beautifully here. And it's kind of like this, if you want the freshest, newest, because that's when you go to the slice place, you're always looking for the pie that comes out.
Just came out.
Any New Yorker knows that. You're not messing with an 8-hour-old pizza. That will clog your heart. You got to get the good shit. And this is what Sean's giving to you. And it's like this person, we'll get some shots of it a little bit later, but man, I'm just so excited. And it's, it's something that you loved and you went towards the love.
Mm-hmm.
And everything you've always done in your life, you kind of you've never really hold it down super corporate. You always just have gone, I'm doing music, I'm doing this. I love food, I'm going into pizza, and I'm treating it with much respect and doing it correctly.
I appreciate that. It's been a lifetime of passion projects, and as anyone knows that always, doesn't always work out the way you want it to. It doesn't always pay the bills, but
yeah.
I do find now being 47 that it's just kind of who I am. It is who I am, and I've learned to really accept it and kind of just keep changing and evolving and trying something new and not putting an age in front of where I should take chances.
100%.
So yeah, it's the DJing thing. I'm actually back into it again now after taking a long hiatus. But yeah, it makes it more interesting. It's like life's pretty short, so it's nice to pursue dreams and interests. Even as hobbies,
Even as well, and even to get a certain level, even having a spot like this for 4 years is amazing, Sean. And to live this life and to create this family out here. I've been doing stand-up since '99, and I've gone up, I've gone down, I've been sideways, I've done this. And you're right. Like, at the end of the day, this is who I am. I'm going to keep on drinking coffee. I'm going to keep on smoking weed. I'm going to keep on doing stand-up shows. I'm going to keep on doing my weird act. And it's just who I am.
Yeah.
And the more you own it, the better it is. And the flip side, always you look at, like, P. Diddy. You look at, like, these famous people that I've just seen the ego to get fame and mass riches quickly. It's sometimes just a recipe for disaster. So just the slow climb of learning how to be yourself, and I don't know what's going to happen on the other side, but just doing it is part of the gig and doing it for the love. Like, you love it. Like, coming out here, driving out here, I was like, I love Sean. I love this area. This is why I'm fucking doing it.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, and I love you too, and I love that you continue to pursue your dreams. And I think when you put, certain things in place that you're doing this for money, you're always going to find disappointment, right? Because it is really hard to make money in any kind of art or anything you're trying to do that just is a passion project. So you're always going to have a letdown. But when you're doing it regardless, it's really hard to get let down, especially as we get older and life goes on, because you realize that you think that something's going to take, this is going to take off, maybe in a couple months. It's like, oh no, that was 7 years, or that was 10 years. That was 10 years before I got recognized for that. But it's being true to yourself and knowing that you're into something, and there's like-minded people like you, but it's really finding them, right? And how they find you, and it really takes time.
Yeah, it takes time, and to find people that you truly relate to, and it's just. There's so many negative people that it's so far and few in between. It's hard to stay in the way, so to speak. But the payoff is just becoming who you are, and just learning who you are. And you just never know. Also, you never know what's going to lead to what. And when you have if you think, it's going to be $1 million at this point, it's like, nah. But something else may come through. You know?
Yeah. Well, I always say it's like taking on new jobs or experiences or passion projects in life, it's like going down an alleyway where you can't see the streets that are out of the sight. When you walk down like an alley, like, oh, there's another street down there. So you take on these things, and these you meet people, and you have projects that you want to do, and it's like you kind of don't know where it's going to end. And that's a good thing, because it always leads to something else. I mean, you doing the radio show, and knowing Dan and doing East Village Radio with him, I think you did a couple times, and he had the radio station, and I was a part of that. It led to this, right? It led to our friendship for how many years, and different jobs and working situations we've been in together and separately because of each other.
Totally.
It's
you and Joseph Yoon were the two dudes that were like out of my stand-up comedy realm that I totally appreciated and were inspired by. Joseph, now, if you know, he managed some great bands back in the day. You guys all had this like really cool core creative group of people in early Williamsburg. We're talking 2005 to 2010, that were just, you know, super vibrant, always DJing, always producing bands, always doing food. You know, it's just it's inspired me to see you guys grow.
Yeah, I think Williamsburg in that time was such a hub for creativity.
Totally.
You know, that's changed, and that's fine. It'll move to something else. But yeah, at that time, you were inspired by everyone around you. You know, and some people made it really big, and did well for themselves. And you know, whether or not they're happy, you know, who knows? Only they know that. But yeah, it definitely it colors who you are and how you experience the world. And it's great. Like, I see people live out here now that lived in Williamsburg, and like, we didn't know each other then, but we all kind of were in the same venues, and we definitely stood in the same rooms. And now a lot of, you know, those more creative types started to make their way out to Rockaway because of the changes in Brooklyn, you know.
It's so chill out here. I mean, beach life is the best. I've always wanted to have like a beach cruiser and live with flip-flops. And I lived in Nags Head one summer, and I loved it. In San Francisco, I got a little bit of beach life. LA, I got a little beach life. But this is just so dope. But speaking of Williamsburg, I always say like 2005 is when I kind of hit the streets there. And I always mess with the younger folks. I was like, yo, I was there the summer of 2005. Were you? You don't even know. That's when iced coffee hit the streets. Yeah. It was like the crack epidemic all over again. Instead of vials, it was these plastic cups everywhere on Bedford Ave.
It's true.
It's true. Am I right or am I wrong?
It's true. It really is an interesting thing. And I remember people drinking for the first time, like, iced coffee, and then iced coffee in the winter, and that blew my mind.
Yeah.
Like, you drink iced coffee in the winter? Like, you don't switch to the hot coffee? It's like, well, you drink iced tea in the winter, right? I'm like, wow. Like, you're putting this with iced tea? It's just, it's weird. But now it's everywhere. It's in cans. It's everywhere. So you've seen the evolution. It seems like something that's been around forever, but it is really kind of a new thing.
Kind of a new thing in terms of it getting higher grade. Like, I've nerded out on coffee with this spot, and I can give you some cool facts. But yeah, there was some. First, it was like Diner World Coffee, and then in Maxwell House, which was all the beans were like from these big farms. They weren't small. But then like Stumptown, all that, first Starbucks, and then there's another wave that you know, it just got smaller and smaller businesses, smaller farms, people that really care about roasting the beans.
They traveled to those places, right? They went to Costa Rica, and they went to these Latin American countries, and they started to help to source this stuff themselves, which was amazing.
You know where it comes from first? Ethiopia. Ja Rastafari. Nice. Yeah, Ethiopia is where the first coffee bean comes from. And then the other cool fact I like to say is, you know, the two places, because the coffee plant is hard to grow, because you need high elevation.
Right.
Jamaica has great. Blue Mountain, shout out to Blue Mountain.
So good.
So good. But you need like elevation, and you need heat. So it needs to be tropical, and it needs to be hot. But guess with the two places in America you can grow coffee that does have coffee.
The two places in America?
Yeah.
Grow coffee?
Yeah. Hawaii and Puerto Rico.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, I think of the mainland, but right, yeah.
Yeah. Those are the two places that have dope-ass coffee.
Kona coffee, right?
Yeah, Kona coffee. And then I'm always like, man, they should really maximize Puerto Rican coffee. Like, you know, get the beans, be like, yo, Starbucks, you have to only use American beans.
Well, there's a guy, I almost did some business with him. I was doing sales last winter, and there's, you know, the Puerto Rico coffee company.
I've heard of yeah. I've gone to their spots.
Yeah, anyone listening should look up the Puerto Rican coffee company in New York and kind of look at the story of how they started. I think the guy owned like a building in the village, like I think it was like McDougal Street, and they were selling stuff out of the ground floor, and then he just became like an importer, and he's still to this day, like his family's still importing. But yeah, they sell mostly coffee beans.
Yeah, I want to start doing my own beans because it's just pretty much like cooking. You know, as you figured out with pizza, even with making music, it's just fun to break things down to its very, manageable human level and not on a corporate level.
Mm-hmm.
Like you pretty much, find a cool spot, a little small farm, start importing some beans and then roasting them the way you want to roast them.
Absolutely.
I'm
a medium roast guy.
Yeah, I'm a medium roast all day. No dark roast. No. Yeah, let's talk coffee. What's your what do you do? I know you're not drinking anymore.
I've been sober for 9 years, so coffee's my go-to.
Yeah, coffee's you haven't given that. Some people give that up.
I know.
You hang on coffee.
Yeah, it's the stimulant I can deal with.
Yeah.
I like La Colombe.
Yes.
They're based in Philly. I've been to their main store, which is pretty cool. There's a company called Cova, Coava, Cova Coffee. They're based out of Portland. And when I was in Philly with a friend of mine, this guy does he's like a food journalist. He's called Pancakes and Protein Shakes. He does a lot of great stuff on Instagram, and we met up in real life, and he kind of took me on a little food tour in Philly, and he took me to a great coffee shop called Thank You Twice.
Ooh.
You have to go there. You would absolutely love it. And the guy behind the counter, the owner, he's like a G. Like, he doesn't even compete in like the barista competitions in Philly anymore. He judges them. Like, he's the guy.
Yeah.
Really cool guy, really cool shop. But I got coffee there, and I was like, what is this? Like, oh, it's Cova Coffee. He changes it around, and I started ordering from them. And I actually got a kilo the other day. But they ship from Portland, and they have amazing flavors. So delicious. So you got to try that.
Yeah, Portland's no joke, and because that's where Stumptown definitely came from.
Yep,
and,
been there.
Yeah. Was he doing a pour over? How did he serve it at his shop at Philly? Was it just drip?
No, he does. He's got an espresso machine. He's got like this beautiful white machine. The whole place is just amazing.
Yeah. Some of those joints.
I actually did a pour over that day, and I don't do a lot of pour overs, but when there's a special kind of barista back there, and he's really using the best beans or putting you onto something new, I think a pour over is kind of the way to go. I'm an espresso guy. I have a Breville Pro at home, so I make it, which is actually broken right now.
Oh, shit.
I need to get it fixed. But I'm a big espresso guy. Oh. But yeah, pour over is nice, really nice.
Nothing goes better like after an Italian meal or a good pizza than a tiny espresso, because it's like a chocolate, but you get the shot. Delicious. It's so delicious.
Yeah.
I had to stay away. I was doing too much espresso,
Me too.
and I started getting. And I was during the pandemic. This is what happened to me, Sean. Not to say, but I got high blood pressure because I was eating. I just went hardcore in the paint with pepperoni. I started going double pepperoni. Every time I ate pizza, I was just drinking the pepperoni grease down, and then I was drinking mad espressos, and then I went to like.
Geez.
And the dude was like, dude, your heart rate, you got to calm it down. And then he told me, just to hip it to young cats out there, the pour-over technique is, especially you do get the pure essence, but not like the pour-over, if you want the perfect taste of a good coffee bean, the pour-over is the best. Yeah. And it doesn't have this, there's a certain oil that you get with espressos that's not the healthiest.
Right.
For the cholesterol, there's good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. Espresso, it's like having a piece of bacon now and then. It's not bad,
Right.
So that's how I try to treat.
So when I get my machine fixed, I shouldn't have 7 of those a day.
Yeah.
That's where I don't know. That's where I was at.
Yeah, there's a 100-year-old Italian man doing that right now in Italy. I mean, that's how they run. I think if you're not smoking butts and not eating bacon all day long, you can have some shots of espresso all you want, because I know you got a kid. You're hustling, man. I'm cheering for you.
Appreciate it.
I love the pizza. I love the spot, and just to swing it back, your morning ritual, but also like the DJing, and I just have to give a shout out to Prince Marky D of the Fat Boys. I couldn't believe. Now everybody doesn't understand out there how. I understand my first concert was the Fresh Fest. I have it documented on a stand-up album. But I saw the Fat Boys when they were in power, when they were the strongest rap group.
Huge.
Cooler. I remember them being, probably bigger than Run DMC for a brief moment.
Definitely.
There was like a moment, and then once Run DMC and Beastie Boys, it was like this crash of the wave. But they were the first. But out of all of them, my favorite rhymer and his voice and his tone was Prince Marky D.
Legend. Absolute legend.
And he did a commercial for Shawnee Slices.
Yeah,
Can you give us a little background?
I can. First, I want to say that that is the part of the hip hop that I don't like. I don't like that it ages people out, or people don't do the history.
Yes.
So when I was growing up, and whatever rock bands got big when I was in high school was Nirvana, Stone Temple Pilots, Pearl Jam, but I still listened. I was a huge Doors fan. I was a huge Zeppelin fan. I was a huge Beatles fan. So that music and that music lineage was always passed on through rock and roll. It's passed on through jazz. But hip-hop's been looked at as a young man's game and a young man's sport, and that keeps its edginess to a certain extent. Yeah, exactly. The money. But I have an issue with it because I think people should go back and look at the roots, and the roots are only 51 years old as of today, right?
Yep.
So you should really go back and see where it came from to see where it is today, to really appreciate it. Prince Marky D. So this local guy, Bobby J from Rockaway, I think is just one of the most talented rappers, lyricists around.
Yeah, he's
period.
A sick
Forget about
flow.
New York. He's just super talented guy. Super
Indie
bright.
cool dope rapper that people should check out.
Yeah,
probably
Bobby-
gonna sign with a major, but that's all mixed up these days. But
Bobby J from Rockaway. He's got a new project coming out soon.
Shout out.
So he had done a Shawnee Slices pizza wrap for me when I was at the brewery. It was great. He filmed a little video for it, and then he got followed by some really interesting people in hip hop, like Chino XL, rest in peace, had just passed recently. Followed and loved Bobby. Prince Marky D, because Bobby knows Kwame. So Kwame produced all Bobby's stuff from the time Bobby was a teenager and even till now. Kwame is a complete legend. Prince Marky D, I guess, heard this and then wanted to jump on it. So he just created this song and he sent it to Bobby, and he followed me on Instagram, and we just put it out. And as far as we know, it's the last thing that he did before he passed.
Yes.
And it was just so funny and humorous in perfect Fat Boys fashion. It was so great. And it's like the people that really know, like my DJ friends that are, 40, 50 years old, like, this is legendary. But the general public just has kind of no idea that this legend did this. So I feel very fortunate that he got inspired by Bobby, really. And it was about my pizza. Like, he went on my website.
Yeah, but he was rapping about the pizza.
Yeah.
I saw it. He actually named the pizza. He went through all of it, and it was so dope. And if anybody, the coolest, one of the coolest hip hop joints of all time is "Can You Feel It" by the Fat Boys. Can you feel it? And it's a sick video. If you ever want to that's the joint you want to put on at a party late at night, and it'll still rock the house. And
Absolutely.
The flows are tight. But man, that is so amazing that you got to tap into that, and to go into your DJ background a little bit. But didn't you get taught by Jam Master Jay, or you did a Jam Master Jay? He would have a little school when you were young.
Yeah, so Source Magazine, that was obviously hugely popular in the 90s and the early 2000s.
I had a subscription to the Source.
Yeah, so legendary.
So legendary.
I picked up a copy. I was working downtown, actually, at this is pre 9/11, and there was a little ad in there for the Scratch Music Academy. So I was like, I want to be a DJ. Like, this is probably a good introduction for me to do this. So I went, and there was just all turntables in a circle, and everyone kind of facing each other, and the different instructors would come in. It was founded by Jam Master Jay and this guy Rob Principi were the founders, and maybe one other person that I don't know their name. And it was right below Canal, it was right below Houston on Broadway, like in a little studio where all those cool shops used to be, clothing stores. It was right upstairs in this cool loft.
Shit.
It was really cool.
Sounds amazing.
And all these different DJs at the time, like this guy Johnny Walker Red was a big DJ. Jahi the Sundance Kid, he was a big DJ then, would give us instructions. And it was founded by Jam Master Jay. And it was at the time where they were filming a Dr. Pepper commercial. And it was going to be played, I think, during an NBA game or something like that. And he came in and gave us an inspirational speech and talked to us. It was everyone was blown away. We got to talk to him and meet him. But even a better story than that is that I wound up working for that company as a mobile DJ. And there's a thing in New York. It used to be in New York called Fashions Night Out, and they put hundreds of DJs in clothing stores across New York City. And I was really late getting my equipment from them. I was like, what's going on? But they put, like I said, hundreds of DJs out that day. And this young guy shows up, and we start talking, and he's delivering the equipment. And I'm like, how did you get involved with these guys? Now, mind you, Jay has passed for years now, and I've been long since done with Scratch Academy as, a student. It was Jam Master Jay's son. It was TJ Mazzell, who's still my friend to this day. Wow. So he goes, oh, my dad helped start it. And I look at him, I'm like, oh, you're Jam Master Jay's son. And he's like, yeah. And Blueprint 3 had just come out, and we had like a 30-minute, 40-minute conversation about that album, Jay-Z's album.
Jay-Z album, yeah.
And he went on to tour, be the tour DJ for A$AP Ferg, and now he's the tour DJ for this kid, this huge act, Kid Leroy.
Yeah.
So that was like an amazing story within that. Like, I got to be friends with his son and like tell him how much I admired his dad. And he looks just like his father. If anyone wants to see a picture, TJ Mazzell, like he looks exactly like his father.
Stocky, strong,
yeah, and he's like a skater kid. He's super cool. He's super sweet.
I think he has a weed company. Yeah,
he's got a weed company, Jam Master Jay's.
Yeah,
so he's just a smart, bright guy. He's a great snowboarder, great athlete.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, it was really nice to like really connect with him and show like the impact his father had on me, you know what I mean, as a DJ and as a person. And then we get to, we talk about our kids. I don't see him, but he lives in L.A., but we chat every now and again. He's just a great guy. So that school brought me that, too, which I really appreciate,
Yeah, friendship like that is amazing.
Yeah.
Now, do you have vinyl now? I'm looking about, I may purchase a turntable. Actually, you turned me on to Turntable Lab.
Yeah, you should absolutely purchase
And I went there, and I went and they had a package. And Turntable Lab is in the Lower East Side. When you say it's probably the best, like, I don't know, maybe not the best. I don't know. I'm not, but it's up there in terms of good quality audiophile, people that really know their shit.
Yeah, they're going to sell you good equipment.
Yeah.
They'll sell you good equipment for sure. And like you said, they have packages, so you can get like a turntable and a couple of speakers. Everything's kind of set up, which I recommend because it makes it really easy for you,
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually bought a turntable and speakers from them last year that I finally just set up recently in my house. So yes, I still have vinyl.
You didn't sell off your collection? Usually a lot of cats sell
a little bit.
Yeah.
I sold one to A1 Records, great record store in Manhattan. If anybody wants records, I sold some to Academy, another great record store. They have multiple locations. But I gave them certain piles they were allowed to look through, which wasn't, garbage by any means. I just didn't have a use for it. And I probably wouldn't sell really any albums, like full-length albums, like 12-inch singles. Some of them are great, like Tribe and all the classic stuff I wouldn't sell, but
the dub side of the 12-inch, people don't know the 12. If you flip the dubs, if you flip the 12-inch over, you always find something unique and funky and weird. But I know I sold all my comic books. I feel so bad. I did it for like $300. They're probably worth $100,000 now. But it was like when I was 17 and I wanted beer. I sold all my
I got an idea.
I got an idea. But thank God you kept some of yours.
I kept most of them.
Most of them?
Most of them, yeah.
So how many crates are we talking? Am I breaking my back loading the crates?
Yeah. So it's weird. My son, in his bedroom, we have this huge closet for him, and more than half of it is filled with my vinyl only. So there's probably maybe 15 crates in there.
Some of those are a 401k plan right now. So vinyl's going hot, man. Yeah. I threw away some vinyl or gave some away, and I used to have some classic Fab Boy, all the classic hip hop, and now I'm just like, shit, that album's probably worth $200.
It takes a lot of energy and time to sell them properly as well, right?
True,
eBay, Discogs, you got to kind of be that kind of person. I'm not really that person. That I don't have the patience for that really, but maybe down the road, or we'll see if my son Aiden wants them at some point. Yeah. So I'm just kind of hanging on to them, and I'll just pull out random ones and put it in. I'll put it near my record player so I can just like listen to random stuff with him.
What are the records you have out right now? You just set up the table, so do you have like a stack of like 4 records right now? I want to feel
right
current.
now I have this compilation. I don't remember what it's called. It might be Nigeria 1970 or something like that. I have that. I have a Mac Miller live record.
Oh wow!
He did a recording on NPR.
Oh shit!
Of some of his songs, I think it was like from Circles or Swimming, and I bought that to basically. I just got lucky. Like they put it up on his site and it was kind of random, like how many they had, and I got lucky with that. I have MF Doom record on my set up.
The one about food.
Food.
Yeah.
Yep. What else do I have sitting out? I have one more sitting out that I was listening.
Rock?
I have. You know what I have out? I have out David Byrne's Utopia, the play.
Yes.
Did you see that?
I did see that. I
So
loved watching that.
My wife took me to see that on Broadway a couple years ago, and she's like, it was a gift. She's
You
like,
saw it?
Yeah, I went.
Oh, wow.
It was heavy. It was really good.
Because they have the drums,
Yeah, the stage was amazing. The music was amazing.
Lighting, yeah.
And basically, she was like, "Oh, you want to get something for me?" I was like, "You know what? I'm going to get the vinyl." So I have that out as well.
Oh,
and that's a fun listen.
That's a real fun listen. The thing about I will talk a minute about the Talking Heads. And David Byrne, like that's a guy that definitely is more of an artist than he is trying to make money. He's more in classic New York, just like I'm gonna make it as tight and weird and original, and I'm gonna really care. Kind of in the David Bowie ilk of it.
Typical Rockaway kid behind us, by the way.
Oh yeah, it's all good. Yeah, he wants to get some camera time. It's cool. Part of the gig. But what I was gonna say, no, but you know what one of the funkiest bass lines of all time is?
Tell me.
I'm in heaven with my boyfriend.
Oh yeah.
With my boy. What is that one? That is not the Talking Heads. That's the Tom Tom Club. It's the female bassist of the Talking Heads, and it's literally one of the funkiest tunes. And people are always like, "Oh," I'm always like, "Listen, the funk comes from anywhere. This is just some girl from Connecticut with a bass, and she made one of the dopest bass lines of all time. That jam you put on, it will always rock."
Yeah, I still play that out.
Yeah.
I mean, now I have to go on a female bass, tangent. There's a woman. She played with a lot of friends of mine, and now she plays on. I don't know if his show is still in the air. The guy James Corbin. So his band is what's the guy's name? He was a comedian as well.
James Corbin.
He's the band leader for James.
Yeah. Reggie Watts?
Reggie Watts.
My boy, yeah, I know Reggie.
So his bass player is Hagar Benari. Unbelievable. One of the greatest bass players you'll ever
Reggie
hear to feel.
Fox is really good musician.
So I knew her from Williamsburg, from Brooklyn. She used to play in a couple bands that I worked with. And there you go, female bass player, one of the literally one of the greatest bass players you'll ever hear.
Yeah. A female bassist just makes a band so much doper. Like the smashing.
It's all feel.
Yeah,
bass,
it's
right?
Yeah. And you need feminine energy as much as you need them both. That's what I've learned with life is like you need masculine energy and you need feminine energy. And when it comes to doing art, it's nice to have a balance of both.
Absolutely. Yeah, it balances well.
It balances well. Whereas, where are you at with hip hop now? Like, where are you at with like do you still pump it? Do you pump the new stuff? Are you bitter about how money but you can't judge it. Where are you at with it? Being an older head like me.
I mean, I think it's a complicated thing with hip hop. It's and I don't mean this in a disparaging or disrespectful way. There are elements of hip hop in trap music, but it's not hip hop to me. It's not really part of the 5 elements. It's really not what hip hop is. It's just I think record companies and people in media just have an issue with young black people making other kinds of music and categorizing it as something else, and it's really not hip hop. It's really not rapping. It's a different thing. And I don't know exactly what to call it. I guess they call it trap, and it's cool, and I have no issue with it. And some of it I like, but there's plenty of great hip hop out. Just because it's not, the most popular thing in the world doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Oh yeah, you got to dig it out. Large Professor still prefer producing shit, and
Yeah.
I'd search out Large Professor, and he had this girl. I don't know. She was a female rapper that wasn't rapping grimy, but she was from Queens, and she had a sick flow. It's called Bodega. Shout out to Large Professor. It just came out.
He's a legend.
Yeah.
He's a legend. But
but I had to dig it out. Like you got to get kind of nerdy with it.
What's the biggest song in the last 10 years? It's Kendrick's "Not Like Us." That's a rap song.
That's a great.
That's
rap
hip hop. I mean, You know,
when you heard that, like, not like us, I just knew.
blew my mind.
It blew my mind. It just, that and Humble were both, like, for an old head, I was like, oh, this fucking rips.
That song went worldwide.
Yeah.
You know, so hip-hop is very much alive. Lyricism is very much alive. Yeah, I don't think hip-hop is in such a bad place. I think that people's perception of what's really popular is just a different thing than it is for me.
Yeah. I think I'm looking at it at different lenses, but I will say what Run said to Don Cornelius on Soul Train in 1983. There's a video of it. And Don Cornelius is like, yo, why is everybody liking hip-hop right now? They didn't understand because soul and R&B was like king, and then all of a sudden this thing came out of nowhere, and Run just said, it's got a funky beat and anybody could dance to it.
Yeah.
And that was, you know, and that's when I go, like, to tell you the truth, I like the Migos.
Yeah.
I thought the Migos had great tunes. I like three people bouncing back and forth. The beats were futuristic. The tone, the flavor was different. The part of trap, I'm done with selling coke. I'm done with killing people. I'm done with guns. I'm done with jewelry. But at the same time, it's funky.
Yeah.
And you could dance to it.
Yeah.
And I can't judge it because it is entertainment in some senses.
Yeah, it's tough to listen to some of the subject matter, but it goes for movies and other kinds of entertainment as well. It's like people never treated Arnold Schwarzenegger as harshly as they did Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Ever. That never happened. He was always a legend. He was always making art. He was always somebody that people respected. He was making the most violent films that were blockbuster films. And Ice Cube was talking about, you know, some fantasy stuff, but some stuff that was happening in real life. I think that's the part that people don't like. It's like there's too much reality to it, you know, in the story. So I don't know. I'm not an old man enough to really care too much. I don't choose to listen to a lot of negativity just because I don't kind of want it in my space.
Same. I'm meditating on that.
Yeah, a little bit of angst is okay, I think.
Yeah, you need a little for your elbow to push.
Edge.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not.
Yeah. I don't want to judge it and be like, oh, toxic and all this. And I believe some of it did go that way, and because of the money and because it almost got to pop music level where it is now, you know. So it's like it's hard to. I think the thing I'm learning with Zen and Taoism is just like things come and then they grow all the way out and then they go back.
Absolutely.
And I think we're at the point where it's like grown all the way out. But it will eventually come back to the source.
Absolutely.
And I think Kendrick, like, not like us, was like back to the source of just like, oh, this is a jam.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I don't care if the diss was ever, but that beat was funky, mustard on the beat, the hook was just, it had everything. The same thing with comedy is like, you can be all philosophical or say this is right wing or left wing, but if it's funny.
Yeah.
That's all that cuts through all the BS.
Yeah. I think people in your field, you know, are exhausted by, you know, the silencing of, you know, free speech, and they kind of woke up at some point. And, you know, Chappelle was a big part of that. And you know, I think for it's always not in comedy. I feel like it's always been like that, where like the black comedian can say the taboo thing. Because the truth is that people, you know that there's a lot of oppression that happens to black people, so they're like, well, he can kind of say that, and he was kind of the voice for that, and maybe even for me as a listener or somebody that enjoys it, like maybe I think he just went too far on certain things, but I don't want to end his career, I don't want to cancel him, either I dig something or I don't, and it's like we're kind of missing that balance in art where it's like, yeah, I thought that was corny. You know, or that's just not my thing. That you talked about this thing over and over. It's like that's not my thing. But I don't just like completely cut you off and want you to like not have a livelihood anymore. It's like that extremism we're in. It's just and
it's whack.
Comedy's fighting back.
Yeah, comedy's fine. Yeah, people don't like it at all. I kind of do understand a little bit of it because it's growing, and you got to watch. You know, it's just like there's a trick to comedy in a sense of like talking to the masses.
Right.
So you have, when you get to a point, you do have to be somewhat what's coming out of your mouth, but I don't think Chappelle. Chappelle's just doing Chappelle.
Right. Is
Joe
it
Rogan's
funny?
Just doing
but is
Joe
it funny?
Rogan. Yeah. Is it funny?
Is it funny?
Yeah. And that's the ultimate thing that will test.
Right.
At the end of the day. So you can say all the social shit, and that's kind of my point with hip hop. Is like it's not good or bad, but if it knocks, it knocks.
Right.
And if it's funny, it's funny. And that kind of cuts through the BS.
Yeah, it should.
Yeah.
It does for me.
Yeah, it does for you.
You
And
know,
I
it
think
does for
any
me.
art, like when it's done well, even if it's extreme or weird, whether it's a horror film, like right now, like, dude, the film heads are worshiping Texas Chainsaw Massacre as like, this great film, and like it talks to all these different levels. But it's like, when that thing came out, that was like almost shot on a home video camera with like a dude that was all methed out with a chainsaw.
I haven't seen the recent praise for it. I
No,
must have watched it as a kid, but I don't really recall it so much.
No, I'm not a horror fan. I just did a movie with Adam Dubin, actually. I did a horror movie, but I'm not a. Yeah, you know me. I don't like killing. I don't like any of that. I don't violence. It's like I can get into it. And actually, I did really. And two of my favorite '80s movies are the original Conan and Escape from New York.
Oh, yeah.
Those are two DVD. You gotta own some DVDs.
Yeah.
Those are two DVDs I own. I got Escape New York. I don't care if it's streaming or not. I got the hard copy. Baby.
Yeah, just
I'm
in
ready
case.
to go.
Just in case.
Do you have any hard copy films that you have set aside?
I really don't, but I would say.
You don't have any graffiti DVDs from back in the day?
I got a couple graffiti books that are not even mine. I have a Donde book that belongs to my friend Paul. Shout out to Paul.
What does that mean? Do you have like one of his notebooks that he drew in
it's just
it,
like
or
somebody
was it
created like a Donde book.
That's
it's a lot of his artwork. It's really cool. And my friend Paul lent it to me like 20 years ago, and I still have it. And it's like, you get rid of stuff, and I'm like, well, I can't get rid of this because this is not mine. But if I was gonna own any DVDs, I mean, Do the Right Thing.
It's always knocking.
It's such an important movie for me, and people, they have his critics about it, whatever. But I love it. I watch it every
summer.
Shot
so well, yeah.
It hits me different as I get older and older. And I watched it, a couple blocks from here. There used to be a movie theater in Rockaway, and I watched it in 1989, the summer it came out. And I was 13 years old, and I watched it. And a lot of the stuff that happened in that movie, I was really confused about as a young person. Like I never understood, like as a young, like in that moment, like why would Mookie throw this garbage can through the window? Like Sal loved him and he loved Sal, and it took me, time to learn that like a life was lost. Fuck that window, you know what I mean? Like, and like now watching that, I watch it every year. I watched it, 3 weeks ago. Every summer I watch it, and it hits you differently every time, and you kind of sympathize with different characters. Right now, the mayor is like my character.
Oh wow!
Like he's my character right now. He's the guy that I'm really love and I'm focused on.
I gotta revisit it. I saw it in the movie theater in '89 as well, and I took my friend to it. And it was this small arty theater that was in Georgetown, and it was the summer. Mm-hmm. I remember that 1989. And but this kid was from North Carolina that I took, and he came out mad. I remember him. It didn't sit with him right.
Yeah.
But me being from D.C., I kind of understood it, and I was like, oh, shit. But, it was just, it was definitely shot so well artistically, and then it was hip-hop. That Public Enemy, in terms of hip-hop, in terms of Fight the Power was just a sick tune. That
Classic.
album is just ridiculous.
Yeah. It was a powerful statement at the beginning of the movie, right? And the dancing and just I don't know, it was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
absolutely
the dance,
brilliant.
how it was shot and framed. Yeah, as much as sometimes I'm like, why do people stick with Spike? Like he's just revered, but it should be because he made a piece of art that was almost like the Mona Lisa. Now that I've gotten older and done filmmaking and done stuff, I mean, I always loved the film and thought it was important, but he's always been held in this regard. And now he's like, it's him and Scorsese, Spike Lee and now I know.
It was, I mean,
he put out a super classic.
It's really a play. It kind of when you watch it, it plays like a play. Especially the character, the gentleman that plays the mayor, like it has that play-like quality to it. I wonder, they never did it on Broadway, right? That never was a thing.
But they must have. I don't know, maybe.
Because it would just play so well on Broadway.
It would, and with the dancing and the opening scene, it would. And there is kind of a, Yeah, old New York Jets versus the, it would work well on a Broadway show.
Absolutely. And it's really just one block. It's really supposed to be just only the one block, and it's something else you really realize when you really watch it over and over again. It's like, oh, this is only one block. That's it.
That's it. All the locations, whenever I write, if it's did it happen in one day too? Yeah. It's one night. It's one block, one day.
Yeah, he wakes up.
7 characters.
Yeah, he wakes up in the morning and he goes to the pizzeria, and then, there's a, huge incident, and that night it ends, and then it goes to the next morning, where he goes back to get paid.
Oh shit.
Yeah, Mookie goes back to get paid. He goes back to Sal, and it's just great. He goes, here's $500. You're a rich fucking man now. Congratulations. And it's Danny Aiello.
Yes,
is
of course.
Actor. And
that goes on to
Spike,
Sopranos.
who's Mookie, says, $250. I get $250 a week. And he throws the other money back to him. And then as he's about to leave and they're about to end the scene, Mookie looks down, picks up the rest of the money, and walks away. Which I thought was a really weird thing to do, because he stood on principle. But then it's also part of his character. It's like, fuck it, I'll just take the money too,
Yeah. That's the scrappy New York,
Yeah.
It's just like when you work, you want to get that. Yeah. I want to get it all, man. I got shit to do.
Yeah.
But that is a funny little scene, man. And then, movies are great, films are great, music is great. What about exercise? What's your morning routine? I like to talk about the Cannabis Coffee Hour. What are you doing? Are you meditating? Are you doing push-ups?
No, I should be doing a lot.
Yeah, but you work. You got a small
I work
business.
a lot.
You got a kid.
I have a young kid.
Yeah.
These are my excuses, right? Let's lay them out. I'm tired.
But
I did meditate a lot last summer, and I used an app called Headspace where it keeps you locked in. It felt really good. And a couple times this year, going into like a big day at my concession, like knowing it's going to be really busy, I did meditate before I got here, and it kept me calm.
Yeah.
I walk a lot. But once this ends, I'm only open for another, short time. I'm open till Labor Day. I'll have more time to kind of walk. I joined the Y down here, so I'll try to go to the Y more.
Yeah.
I got some injuries I got to work through, but I want to get back into swimming. That's what I want to do. That's my goal this fall, is to get back in the pool and swim.
Yeah, get some laps in the morning. It just, it's the best, man. It's the best exercise because it doesn't bang your knees and it doesn't bang your joints, and you kind of just float on the water. I'm trying to join the Y this year too and get my swim on in the morning. Because once you get your swim on in the morning, and that's what's great about Rockaway Beach, is could we go out? We could go out there and swim right now.
Sure. The lifeguards, see the orange, umbrellas. The lifeguards. My niece is actually our lifeguard right in front of us.
Oh, shout out to your niece, man.
Kaylee,
shout out.
Saving more lives than you can imagine in one summer.
Yeah, being a lifeguard, I knew a lifeguard in North Carolina when I was there that summer. It's a hardcore job. You got to pass some stuff. You got to work out.
Yeah, you got to pass the swim test. Here's my PSA. If you do not know how to swim, don't go past your knees in the water. And even there, you can get swept out by a nasty rip current.
Yeah.
Rockaway is one of the worst rip currents on the East Coast. So if you're going to come to the beach, swim in front of a lifeguard and swim within your means. Do not swim when there's no lifeguard, because we see a lot of drownings out here, unfortunately, and it's very heartbreaking for us because we know what's going to happen, and unsuspecting young people don't.
Yeah.
So please.
It's dangerous. Yeah, the thing about, I love these beaches out here on the East Coast and in the New York and the Long Beach and the Rock Beach, but they have waves, but it's tight and choppy, and they'll snap right on the beach break. So you can mess yourself up. You can't, you got to be mindful of the ocean and respect. That's what I love about the ocean, is like, you have to respect it.
It'll always show you who's in charge.
They'll always show you who's in charge. You're not running the show,
No.
and it's not a machine. It's very organic. And yeah, if you get in a bad rip current, and you're not ready, it'll take you out.
It'll take you out, yeah.
Or it'll smash on top of you, amount of pressure in 2 feet of water that will break a knee or whatever.
Yeah, you gotta be really careful.
You gotta be mindful, and you gotta get out. But you also can't be too scared and never go out there.
No, I think learning how to swim and teaching your children how to swim, as challenging that could be in a city like New York, it's vital. My son is 3. He's in swimming lessons, and then
Smart.
We're lucky enough that my mom has a pool where she lives, so he's in the pool every single day.
Oh, that's the best.
We're raising him on the beach, so the kids in the peninsula, for the most part, know how to swim, but it's important to learn.
Yeah, it's very important to learn, because if you ever get in a jam, and then you just don't want to be Yeah, I was doing swim team very young, and then we had a lake. We had a little cottage in Michigan, and my mom would make me swim across the lake even when I was like 5 or 7. That was like the
smart.
thing we did in the morning. And it was long, and she would be in a rowboat, and we would go all the way across, and go all the way back. And so I've never had a fear of water or swimming, and I'm not the best surfer because I started like when I was 24, but because I swam a lot and I was on swim team, I could paddle and get out there and figure it out. You know?
It opens yourself up to different experiences when you swim. It's like, think about all the vacations you can take in places where you want to get in the water, and if you're scared or you don't know how to swim, it inhibits you.
Yeah.
So.
And it's great for the road in some of these hotels that do, like I look forward if I'm in some weird hotel, but if they got a pool, you could live, you get down there early before the kids get in there, right?
Absolutely.
You got to watch the family with the kids. Once the fat mom and the 3 kids are in the pool, you're not hanging out there. Don't hang out at the hotel pool. Get down there and early. And one of my favorite things is floating on my back. That's one of my meditations, is just going in the middle of the pool. Because it's kind of like a deprivation tank, like you could just,
you can't hear because your
ears
ears underwater.
Your ears are underwater, and you're just letting go, and you're just letting yourself naturally like float on top. It's like one of my Zen tricks on the road.
Do you think I can do that at the Y, like in the racing lanes? You think they're gonna toss me out of there?
Yeah. Why you can't mess around? Those are businessmen. You gotta go in there. You gotta do your laps. You gotta get your kick turned down. You're not doing any kick turns. Can you do a kick turn?
No, I was always bad at that. I wasn't a great swimmer. My brothers, both my older brothers, were very, very. My sister too.
Yeah.
Very good swimmers. Very competitive. My brothers.
It's hardcore.
I just didn't. I was the youngest, and I kind of. I think my
Same.
parents at one point were like, learn how to swim, and they weren't so strict with me.
Yeah.
It happens with the youngest kid a lot. But yeah,
Same.
I mean, I can swim, but
Yeah.
I'm not a great swimmer. So I just want to do it for exercise, really.
Can you do a butterfly stroke? The most awkward
No
stroke.
way. No.
This one I used to have a joke.
My shoulder hurts so much right now that I don't know if I could do it anyway. But yeah, that's a tough stroke.
It's a tough.
Who created that?
Who created?
Let's
Why
swim
would you
this
do
way.
that?
Yeah, why are we doing this?
I'm a big fan of the side stroke. Side dog paddle. That's what I'll do now and then.
I like breaststroke.
Oh, breaststroke's the best.
In high school when we swam on the team, breaststroke. I can do that.
Make the pizza, cut it.
Yeah.
That's how you get taught.
I guess that's why I love pizza.
Yeah, that's why you love pizza, man. Let's give a proper shout out. Where can people find you? You're right now. It's closing season. You got what? 10 days left of the season.
Yeah, we got 10, 11 days. So we close on September 2nd. That is Labor Day, and I'm in Rockaway on the boardwalk on 97th Street and Rockaway on the boardwalk. So we typically open from Memorial Day through Labor Day. We try to do 7 days a week. If the rain comes, people leave the beach, we close. So we have a short time. I don't know when you're going to air this, but we have a short window right now. And then we come back next year because it really is, it's a seasonal town. And this is a seasonal location. So
Sick.
We don't stretch it past that.
Hey, but you can follow him on Instagram, and he's always getting into something interesting and fun with food and pizza and DJing. All the fun, all the things that I like. Not much cannabis as much anymore.
No weed, no drinking.
Weed, but we used to puff some blunts back in the day together.
Lived in California, did all that stuff. I just kind of fell out of love with all of it.
Dude, I get it. I understand. But at the same time, I do love beats, and it just music, food. It's just all the things that I love. It's just like you're doing it all, and I'm just excited for you and excited for the future.
Thank you.
Where are we at with time, Matt? 56. Oh, wow. We nailed it. We were trying to dude, you killed it, my man.
Appreciate it.
Sean Aiken for the Cannabis Coffee Hour, a.k.a. the CCH podcast. And, we're mostly on vibes here. Do you want to give just a word out into the universe? What do you want to send out into internet forever?
Oh, okay. Be kind to each other. It's really important to find reasons that you like people.
Kindness.
Especially people next to you, your neighbors. Find a way to get a little bit closer to people that you don't think you have a lot in common with. I think that's an important message, and I definitely try to practice that in my life and in my business, because I think the closer we get to someone, the more they're going to be kind to other people, and we kind of create this friendly circle and not push away from humanity. I think as we push away from people over whatever issues we have, we start to imagine too many negative things in our head. And I think being around people and connecting with people for any reason is typically a good thing.
Yeah, keep it simple. Over food, connect. If you know, the whole political thing, and, you know, I try to not make this podcast political at all. But, you know, I have my views and all that. But at the same time, I really think for American humanities that you gotta find middle ground. And some middle ground is food, music. You know, it's the fun shit. You could find middle ground with everybody that you disagree with, you know?
Absolutely. And you can find common ground somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think it's just better to focus on that than to focus on, you know, what you think you don't like about someone, because you're more like people than you realize.
Yeah.
And I know no one believes that at times, especially in the landscape we're in this country, but you do have a lot more in common with your fellow man than don't. And it's important to remember that. Everyone that's breathing, that has hair, that has a brain, that, you know, it's all these little, this is my taste, and this is how, you know, all that is in the world of nature. Means nothing. No,
it means nothing.
We're just a speck.
Back, and we're going down to the earth. We're gonna feed the worms, and that's just the cycle of life. So don't get too caught up with all of it and making things crazy. I don't know, but people got to stand up for what they stand up for, and I think women should have their own rights and all of that. So I also want to say that. But
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But getting people to come closer to your side is also having conversations with them.
Yeah,
and when we call each other stupid and idiots and oppose people so heavily, and we never have a conversation, it's like people just fall further back into their dislikes and anger. Yeah, it's not healthy for us.
Not healthy. Go out and have some pizza with your boys and everybody, and enjoy life. And it's just too short. And just build on that, and then we'll cut it. Kindness, being kind. What I've learned, the real tough guy is the kind person.
Absolutely.
It's harder to be kind. It's harder to be nice. It's harder. So you think you're such a hard rock, and you think you're tough, and you whip ass, and you don't take shit from anybody. But really, that's weak.
Yeah.
It's harder to go.
It's fear-based.
It's fear-based. It's based on fear. It with love, it's a higher way of thinking, and it's harder and it's complicated, but you can get there, and it's helpful for everybody and healthy for you.
Yeah, I mean, we have certain things in us that you look at a person, you know, the outfit that they chose and how they carry themselves, and there's all these quick snap judgments in society, and it's like, just so we can move past our day and figure somebody out, are they a danger to me? And some of that stuff you have to realize at times is a false equation, you know, and it's important to just try to take as many people, you know, as a revolving door as possible, and not be hung up on what they look like or what you think they represent. You know, try to get a couple words out of them first. Try and see how it goes.
Yeah, man. It's important to listen and to get out of your head. And a good way of getting out of your head is just listening. So, Sean, I appreciate your time, man.
Rob, you're the man.
You're the man.
Appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Peace and love. Give a little smile to the camera. Peace and love to the universe forever. That's it. Cannabis Coffee Hour. Peace. My man. Oh, man.